You really got to stop now.
You don't think that's funny, Thomas?
Not at all.
Ain't dead.
Yeah, funny. Are we good?
Yep, we're good.
All right, we're coming at you live here on Pure Delusion's YouTube channel.
And Trigonometry on Twitch.
So, if you want to ask us questions, you're going to need to go on twitch.tv/trigonometry because we're taking questions there.
Got the chat up, all ready to go.
So, we're here to do a recap and our reaction of the season finale of Season 7, Game of Thrones, The Dragon and the Wolf.
It's a pretty good finale. I thought we had a lot of good character development, some good character death. One of my personal favorites kicked the bucket tonight, but it was a long time coming.
Yeah, R.I.P. Baelish.
Yeah. See you later, Littlefinger.
That was interesting to me about, you know, because usually season finales, usually season finales we see a huge, you know, character die. So Peter, you know, Littlefinger's a pretty big character, but I was kind of expecting something more. You know, someone bigger to die.
I mean, if you think about it, this is kind of all his fault, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of summed it up there. We're like, you know, like, well, you kind of set up the whole rebellion. You set up, you know, the strife between the Lannisters and Starks. He killed Jon Arryn to kind of get the ball. I mean, that was the whole thing that got the ball rolling. So, yeah, I mean, long time coming for him. I loved kind of seeing how they ended his character a little bit. I thought it was a little weird to see him begging, just because that's not really the type of character that he is. But I thought it was a good way to send him out. I mean, I thought they did a good job of misdirecting and really making you think, like, is she going to go after Arya? Which, obviously, she didn't. But I thought the directors did a great job with this episode of kind of doing that misdirect and making it seem like she was going after Arya instead.
When that scene started and I saw Brienne sitting there, I was like, there's no way he's going to let Arya die.
Yeah.
And then it was really nice how they kind of flipped it on Littlefinger.
Yeah. See, I thought it was going to get, like, super dramatic. Like, she was going to go to do it, and then Brienne was going to be like, no, this is really what happened.
Right.
And then they were going to flip the script on him that way. But, no, it seemed, like, I thought it was really cool how, like, going into that scene, you have, like, one perception of what's going to happen, and then they completely flip it on you. And, like, you know, he's even, like, he goes to, like, I can't remember what that guy's name is.
Oh, yeah, the guy
Royce or whatever, the guy from the Vale.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, take me back to the Vale. And he's like, nah, I don't think so. So they kind of, they set him up, and they had it all figured out.
Who's in charge of the Vale now?
It's going to be Robin.
Okay,
Robin, Lysa Arryn's son.
He's still, where is he at?
Little crazy kid. I think he's still in the Vale. I mean, it seemed like, you know, Baelish was doing his thing, you know, acting as, like, regent of the Vale, if you want to call him that. But now it's probably going back to Robin. I mean, really, like, they're going to follow Sansa's orders, though, for real, like, in terms of, like, what's going on now. Because we saw another big development, which was the White Walkers finally made it past the wall. I know we're, like, kind of skipping ahead there, but I thought that was, like, really cool ending scene. My personal favorite scene for the episode. What do you think happened there at the end with good old Beric and Tormund? You think they're goners, or?
Well, Tormund, you know, with the whole Game of Thrones thing, I don't really think anybody dies unless I see them dead.
Yeah.
It's very rare for somebody, like, I guess we saw it with Stannis.
Yeah.
He's dead, and we didn't really see it. The lady from Highgarden, Olenna.
Olenna, yeah.
So I'm assuming she's dead, but I don't think Tormund's dead. We still got that unfinished business with him and Brienne.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, you did not see him and Beric, you know, falling down, and I mean, there was still, you know, I mean, they could have been like far enough down the wall where it wasn't going to get them, but who knows? We won't find out until 2019. So
that's when it's coming out.
I think so. I think that's what I heard. It's when the last season's going to be coming out. So that's a long wait.
The wall came to see. Walls never work.
They don't.
Those walls, man.
They don't keep anything.
Can't trust those walls, because when that scene happened, when you see the army of the dead approaching, I'm like, how are they going to get past this wall?
Yeah.
And then here comes that undead dragon. I'm like, oh, so is it shooting fire or is it shooting ice?
I mean, it's a good question. I mean, I really don't. Like, I want to say it's like some kind of like enchanted fire now, because undead dragon.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, obviously it was strong enough to melt the wall. I kind of wonder if like Daenerys' dragons would be able to do that. Maybe it was just like the matter of him getting his hands on one that was going to set that in motion. I don't know.
They're heading down there fast.
Yeah,
they're going to be at Winterfell pretty damn soon.
Yeah, I mean with how quickly things people have been traveling this season, they'll probably be there like in the first episode.
Oh yeah.
So I think that'll be pretty interesting because I'm sure Brienne kind of knows what's up and he's going like, oh, they're coming, guys.
He was watching. He was watching.
He did say he sees everything.
So that was definitely an epic scene. My favorite scene of the episode, I'd say, was between Tyrion and Cersei. I thought that was definitely some like A+ acting by Lena Headey and Peter Dinklage. I thought that was an incredible.
Yeah, I mean
scene.
it was really good. The tension was definitely there all episode. They had quite a few scenes that were like that. I mean, you had that scene. You also had the scene between her and Jaime, where like we were kind of like, is she really gonna get the mountain to kill him? But obviously, Jaime called her bluff, and she ended up taking him out.
And I think, like, I guess you could say maybe the theme for this episode is, when winter comes, the lone wolf dies and the pack survives. Jaime is going to go with the pack, and Cersei is going to be the lone wolf here. Yeah. So in my mind, things aren't going to go well for Cersei.
No, and I think that's kind of been the theme for her for a while. Like, she's kind of treading down this path of, she's isolating herself from people, trying to stay one step ahead. But I think what we're going to see is, against this White Walker army, that kind of strategy is not really going to work.
I was shocked. So the scene where they're in that arena and they're all talking and Tyrion convinces her to come back out and she says, oh, I'm going to help you guys out. It was like, oh, that doesn't seem like her. But I was like, okay, it's kind of believable. But then we saw her true colors come out later on.
Yeah, there's always that ulterior motive with her, so should have seen that one coming. But I was kind of like surprised. Like, I was really, for a second, I was like, really? Like, this is definitely not like Cersei, but...
Right.
The directors got me again this episode. I mean, they really surprised me with how good they were with the Misdirects. I thought it was really good. I mean, even the Euron thing, like they kind of had me believing like he was really just taking off.
Oh, but,
Cersei revealed it's all part of her big grand plan.
We got some Theon action tonight. He's been kind of,
absent.
Yeah, absent.
It was like the first, the second episode of the season or something?
Yeah, I mean, his character's been pretty absent all around for a long time, ever since, I guess, he's been castrated.
Yeah.
So, I was glad to see the old Theon return. There's that scene, one of the first earlier seasons when they're defending Winterfell after he takes, this guy has some leadership skills.
Yeah.
And even that actor that plays him he has
Alfie
so much
Allen's
range.
A really good actor.
Yeah, that character has gone all over the place, and that guy has nailed it every single time.
Yeah, I think Alfie Allen does a really good job. I think his death's going to be kind of predictable, though. I think it's going to be one of those things like he goes to save Yara and then dies.
Oh yeah,
I mean I can see that one coming a mile away. He'll probably kill Euron in the process somewhere along the lines, but he's definitely going to kick the bucket trying to save his sister.
Yeah, and it's I'm glad he's that he's his character. That's how his character's going to redeem himself after all the stupid and shitty things that he's done.
Yep.
So, what else was there? Oh, so we had the scene between Daenerys and Jon in the bed.
Oh yeah.
Little wincest.
We got the big reveal finally. The cat's out of the bag.
Yeah.
Bran revealed to Sam that Jon is a Targaryen, and then Sam revealed to him that he's actually not a bastard, but this High Septon annulled Rhaegar's marriage to Elia Martell and married Rhaegar to Lyanna Stark. So it turns out Jon is a Targaryen, not a bastard after all.
Yeah, and then we had the whole reveal that Robert's rebellion was based on a lie. Jon and Jon's parents actually loved each other. Instead of the
But do you really think that Robert knew that though? I mean, I think it was obviously secret for a reason. See, I wouldn't say it was based on a lie so much; it was based on a misunderstanding. I don't really think that anybody knew, except for Ned. Obviously, Ned had to keep that secret, otherwise Robert would have killed Jon, and that's kind of goes back to the whole thing. Ned's not his dad, and I thought that scene between not trying to sidetrack or anything, but I thought that scene between Jon and Theon was really good, where he was talking about how Ned was more of a father to Theon than his actual father was. Ned was more of a father to Jon than his actual father was, obviously because Jon doesn't even know who he is. But I thought that was a really cool parallel too, because you see a lot of shades of Ned in Jon, in the fact that he's very noble, always wants to do the right thing no matter what the cost is.
Yeah.
You know, even mentioned, you know, got Ned killed in the episode, but he's still willing to go that mile. So I thought it was pretty interesting, and I think kind of what we're building up to as the seasons go along is it's not blood that ties people together, it's more the bonds you make, because we've seen a lot of characters that don't necessarily follow the traditional bonds of family, like Tyrion, like Jon, like Daenerys. You know, she's obviously very different from her family, as in not being like totally power hungry, but wanting to do the right thing. So I think I thought that was really good, kind of working that whole storyline together here towards the end of the season.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping we were going to see Cersei die this episode. I thought maybe Jaime was going to take her out, but unfortunately we didn't see that. So I'm curious to see how she dies, because like the prophecy said, it's going to be one or the other. It's going to be Tyrion or Jaime that kills her.
It's going to be Jaime. Jaime's going to kill her.
So I'm just curious how they're all going to come back around to that.
I think my prediction is she's going to kill Tyrion, and then Jaime's going to show up like while she's doing it, and then he's going to kill her.
Oh,
and then, I don't know, it'll be a giant bloodbath. Everyone's going to die. Tyrion's all die, or the Lannisters are all going to die.
I hope Tyrion doesn't die.
He's got to. I mean, they got... How many of these big name characters are honestly going to make it all the way through the series?
This season particularly we've moved beyond the books, and I think these directors have kind of shied away from killing the big names. Like, who do we lose this season? Littlefinger, and who else? I mean, there wasn't a ton of big names that died this season.
Tyrell, I mean, I enjoyed her.
Yeah, she died. But it's like...
Hey, Malik Monk 5, how you doing?
I feel like these directors, you know, the season as a whole I thought was pretty decent. It was good. I mean, this finale was amazing, like A+.
Yeah, I thought like the acting was really good. The misdirects were really good. They tied a lot of storylines together really well.
But as the season on a whole, I think it kind of didn't flow like that great, because they don't have the books to guide them anymore.
Yeah, and I think they tried to cram a lot into just 7 episodes, which I think, like, for having 10 episodes every season prior to now, I think it was kind of, like, it's HBO. I mean, they cannot be at a lack for money that they've really got, like...
Well, yeah. I was talking to Tom earlier about how I watched them making these scenes, and you can tell it costs them a lot of money to do this shit with the green screen, and they're building these huge green dragons. So, anyway, we got some questions on Twitch. What are we talking about on Twitch?
Malik Monk, the YouTube channel, there's actually a link down in my, if you go to my Twitch page here and you go down to the description section, there's actually a link for the YouTube page. It's called Pure Delusion. So I think it's in the About Me section. I don't have it right in front of me, but I believe that's where it's at. There's a link in there that has a link right to the YouTube page.
Yeah, we're here on Pure Delusion and on Twitch. We got two streams going here simultaneously. But does Malik have any questions for us?
Just asking about a YouTube channel. I have not heard of them, but I'll definitely have to check them out.
Okay, but I'm just curious to see where this goes. You know, I think so. Jaime pretty much rode up there alone. Was that how you saw it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's probably wandering off on his own. I mean, I'm kind of curious, like, who exactly he's going with. Like, I can't imagine he's just going to go. Yeah, probably. I mean, it definitely seems like he's more like Tyrion than he is like Cersei.
His
At
character,
least the more that we go along.
Yeah, his character's one I really fell in love with that second season. And even when I read the books, you know, his character has so much depth, and I'm really glad to see him finally away from Cersei.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's some really good inside of that character.
Yeah, I mean, I really think, like, out of all the characters in the series, Jaime's had the most growth easily. Because, like, we saw him, like, the very first episode of the series, he was, like, you know, pushing a kid out a window because they caught him having sex with his sister. To, like, now, he's kind of like one of those morally ambiguous characters where it's like, you know, he's done some shitty stuff, but he's also redeemed himself a little bit. So it's kind of like, where do you really place him?
And we also saw that they're still pushing this narrative that Cersei's pregnant. So I don't know if, like, what do you think? Is that really, you think, true, or is she just using that to manipulate people?
I think she's just using it to manipulate, because it is Cersei. I mean, we've seen her do it before. I mean, we saw her do it this episode.
Yeah, and the prophecy said she was only going to have 3 kids, right? And
either that or she's going to end up getting killed while she's still pregnant, in which case, kid would never technically be born, so...
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think she's pregnant, but
yeah, I mean, I think she's either bluffing or the kid's gonna.
Yeah.
Kid's gonna die because she's gonna die.
Right. So the scene between Jon and Daenerys, that was a really pretty interesting scene. What do you think's gonna happen between them? Because eventually Jon's gonna find out that he's the rightful heir.
Yeah, eventually. I mean, I think like what's gonna happen is kind of what I've talked about before. You know, so there's the prince that was promised, that whole theory, which was, you know, Melisandre thought it was originally Stannis.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we'll definitely check you out, Malik.
Yeah, but anyway, so, like, the prince who was promised is, like, you know, this person who's able to defeat the Knight, which is, you know, in this case alluding to the Night Walker, or the White Walkers and the Night King. So I think, you know, the thing is, like, I think one of them has to die in order for them to win that battle. Yeah. Because Azor Ahai got the power from his sword by killing his wife. But, you know, the whole, like, the Valyrian word for prince is gender neutral, and it could be Jon, it could be Daenerys. So I think ultimately it will end up being Jon, who, like, you know, he probably killed Daenerys or whatever.
I just figured they'd get married, and then, you know, one's king, one's queen.
Maybe.
So
I could be reading a little bit too into it, but I love these, like, crazy theories.
Yeah, like, if they both are king and queen, I didn't understand, like, well, they're both, you know, rulers, so who cares?
Yeah. I mean, that is kind of like the whole purpose of Daenerys' thing. You know, she wants to break the wheel. So no better way to break the wheel than put, you know, king and queen on equal footing.
Yeah.
Kind of get rid of that patriarchy.
So Sam's back in Winterfell. Shout out to our friend Tamir. You know, our other person, he couldn't be here tonight, but
he's not a mage yet.
We still haven't seen Sam become a mage, and that's Tamir's big theory. So I guess he still has all those books and scrolls and shit that he brought with him.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see, like, what kind of knowledge he's going to bring. I don't think it's coincidence that he just went back to Winterfell, you know, just to be with Jon. Like, obviously he's got something of value to add to this. So I'm kind of curious to see what exactly that's going to be.
Yeah. So next season should be interesting. A lot of action, I feel like, next season.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Whenever it comes, you know, 2019, I guess.
What is it, 8 episodes? But I think they're going to be longer. I think I heard it somewhere that they're going to all be like an hour and a half.
Yeah, I think so.
It's kind of, kind of makes up for it, I guess.
Yeah.
Having 8 episodes.
Yeah. And
I could get used to like this finale. That was pretty good, like time-wise.
It was definitely, I feel like, if every episode this season was that long, they could have got a lot more done in 7 episodes.
That's my only complaint about this season. I thought there was a lot of really good, like, a lot of good scenes, a lot of good battles. I just feel like they crammed a lot into a small time frame, which is kind of disappointing because I've gotten so accustomed to, like, these, like, you know, these storylines getting drawn out, like we get to see character development and growth and all kinds of different things. Now it's kind of like all coming to a head.
Yeah.
So it's like, we gotta like squeeze so much stuff in here. And
yeah, everybody I've talked to pretty much just said the same thing. Like, oh, it's a pretty good season, but it just feels rushed.
Yeah.
And I think without the books, you know, it's harder for the directors or the creators to put this all together.
I'm kind of curious to see like how, because I read the books and I'm kind of curious to see how they're gonna be different from that. Like, compared to the show, once Winds of Winter's the next one that comes out, I think he's going to do one more after that. So I'm kind of curious to see how everything's going to end up differing.
Yeah, well, I guess that about wraps it up. Anything else?
Yeah. Thanks for everybody that's out there watching and subscribing and all that stuff. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
We'll have to find a new show to do a recap or something on, since obviously Game of Thrones is not going to be back on for a while. So stay tuned for that in the future.
All right. Thanks for checking us out. Again, hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and then head on over to twitch.tv/trigonometry to check out his Twitch.
And anybody that's on my page, the link for Pure Delusion, the YouTube channel, is just down in the description, so definitely check it out if you're not already subscribed.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.
Thanks.